Hey everybody, so I am here talking about the power and control wheel. Um, I want everybody to know that I've researched this wheel, but I'm also pulling from my own self-experience of going through an abusive relationship a few years ago. So I'm pulling from a lot of different things to try to explain to you just the different things and the red flags you really need to look out for when going through and realizing if you are in a dangerous situation within your relationship or not. As I've said before, if you need help, I really hope you can reach out. The domestic abuse hotline is definitely one to reach out to. They have uh, different chat tools and a text option as well if you are not able to call. Um, so in my last video I explained that there is this power and control wheel, and on the outside of the wheel, and don't mind me as I look down at my notes, there is the physicality, and that's what holds this wheel together, and that's the physical and sexual violence. Um, for me personally, my abuser did not very often use physical violence against me. I was lucky um, that it didn't really get to that point. I was never punched, um, but I definitely was hit, and I was kind of pinned down, grabbed by my arms and my shoulders to the point where there were bruises, to the point when you can feel it, that this is happening, you know. Anybody who's ever gone through this, I feel like, may have had those almost like flashbacks during the abuse, where you think about media and you think about times where you have seen abuse, and you realize that is you. You are playing this out. And I always vouched to myself that I would never let a man control me. I would never let a man do anything to me. And I ended up in a horribly abusive relationship. And um, physically, I remember one time I didn't want him in my apartment. I didn't want him near me. I was holding on to my phone and I said, I am going to call the police. I don't want you here. And he ripped the phone out of my hands and he pinned me against the wall and just yelled at me, screaming to me, if you think you can call the police, who do you think you are? Holding me down and taking what felt like every ounce of physicality out of me. I also remember a time when I was driving him to the airport and I wasn't going the right way and I wasn't going fast enough and nothing was ever enough. And that is abuse. He took his arm and he smashed it down onto my knee. And that was one of those times where I had the flashback and I thought, how am I in this position? How am I here? How am I this person I always vowed never to be? And after I dropped him off, I had my thoughts of, I don't need him. I don't need this. I could drive away and never let him back. But I did. Over and over and over. It will take 6 to 7 times for an abusee to leave their abuser. You're hardwired and you are trained to think that you need them, but please know you don't. So on the outside of this wheel, along with the physical, is sexual. And a lot of the times, physical abuse will then lead into sexual abuse. And this is due to the fact of, like, makeup sex. I guess a lot of the time, in the research that I've seen, men will say it's the best sex of their life. For a lot of the time, for women, it is the most humiliating time of their life. And I was no different. remember many times where it was nothing that I ever wanted to do. And I would just cry. And it wouldn't matter. He would get off on the tears. He would get off on the pain and the control. And it is definitely some of the most difficult things to think about and retrain your mind because of all these other things within the wheel, that are imperative to them to be able to control and have all the control. So we've gone through the outside. I'm now going to break down the 8 parts on the inside. Thank you so much for watching.